Welcome to Snetterton for round 3 of the Thundersport GB Championships for 2017. It's the GB Racing Sportsman Elite 600s, the fastest 600 class with Thundersport. There is number 6, that's Brendan Mallander, who's going well here this weekend at Snetterton. In terms of the championship, William White it is that leads the way overall, number 47 on his Get Low Triumph. Jordan Rushby, of course, runner-up last year, is second overall, number 2. And Max Wadsworth will be sporting the number 72, third overall. But there are some fierce competitors here this weekend. The championship leader, William White, second on the grid on that yellow and white Triumph. But it is number 808 who gets away quickest overall, Robert Very. Good start for the rider from Preston on the Colin Sanderson Racing Yamaha, and proving to be in 2017 quite a sturdy competitor indeed. Just up next to him, of course, is a rider who will be familiar to you if you've watched a lot of racing at Thundersport recently. Number 69 is Keelan Irwin, the rider from Letterkenny on the Oasis Bar Yamaha. Of course, he was formerly on that Aprilia 450. But it's Very that leads. William White thinking about a move up into second, but no, Keelan Irwin remains there at the moment. A couple other names to bring to you that will be familiar. Danny Booth, another former 450 rider. Zach Corduroy is out there as well. Likewise, all these guys, of course, trying their luck out at Thundersport. Some of them having the odd go at British Championship level as well, all trying to take their careers onto the next level. So it's quite a young field, the Sportsman Elite 600 Championship for 2017. Champion of last year, Charlie Morris, of course, moved on to the thousands, but he's currently in hospital after a big crash here at Snet, so we send him our very, very best regards. So Jordan Rushby, there he is, number 2, looking to try and get the job done. Now, what we saw last year in this class was that the championship protagonists weren't necessarily winning all of the races, they were just finishing them. And that seems to be the case here, as we've got a right mix-up going on. There's William White, the championship leader. Danny Booth, number 64, just struggling to exit Chapman. We're on the Snetterton 200 layout here. Fastest lap we've ever seen around here is Ross Twyman, who's cutting his stuff pretty well at British Championship level at the moment. It's brilliant to see, so well done to you, Ross, if you are watching. But I don't think we're going to get anyone challenging him his lap time, so Ross, you'll be pleased to know you'll hold on to that for at least another year. There's Brendan Mallander now, former pre-national 600 rider. Brendan Mallander struggled a bit last year making the transition to this faster 600 class, but whatever's happened to him in the winter, he has come into 2017 a much stronger rider. There he is, going very well, and this is pretty close. The opening stages then of this 600 race, as ever here at Thundersport. So many 600s, record entries for Thundersport GB. In fact, the highest entry they've ever had at Snetterton. Let's not forget, this is the 10th season of racing for Thundersport GB, and we've got record entries here for Snetterton. And Thundersport Sid informs me that they've got a record entry for Cadwell as well. Cadwell hasn't exactly suffered over the years when it comes to entries anyway, so they are going to be crammed in to the paddock over at Cadwell Park. There'll be people in the forest putting tents and awnings up by the looks of things, and in the woods, because it already looks pretty full there when the last time I went to Cadwell anyway. So great news for Thundersport, despite the fact that in the world of racing 600 seem to be toned down a bit and people are heading towards Moto2 machines. Well, no one's told this lot. There's number 21, James Field, Barton upon Humber, one of our Royal Air Force Motorsport Association riders. Number 14 there up in the sharp end is Tony Wastelage in the Online Carpets Yamaha. I remember Tony racing back in the days I was racing in 2002-03, so nice to see Tony up there. There he is, number 14. William White just up ahead of him. William White, a consistent campaigner now in Thundersport GB, and knows what has to be done to finish races. He was unlucky not to play a bigger part in last year's championship, finishing third overall. He's gone past and dealt with Tony Wastelage. There's Danny Booth, number 64, on his day, capable of winning a race anywhere. Lloyd Shelley is then next, and Lloyd is one of our favourite riders to watch, the Terrier, as we've been calling him. Last year's pre-national 600 champion. Some weird and wonderful lines from Lloyd Shelley, who has his gloves off from the moment his visor is flipped shut on the grid, and is learning at every single lap that goes by, and quite an extraordinary riding style as well from Lloyd Shelley in terms of the position that he sits on that bike. Across the line come the leaders. Despite the fact that Very and Irwin at the moment are first and second, you wouldn't put it past this group becoming a feature there in the battle for the win. They need to work together a bit, but the top 10 are not separated by an awful lot. Zach Corduroy's a part of that group as well, number 22. Max Wadsworth, who's third in the championship, just struggling to stay in touch with them at the moment. He's got his hands full with Arnie Shelton and Jonathan Perry, who's moved from the Super Twin class onto a 600. To the back straight we go, and still Very it is that has a slender lead over Keelan Irwin. Most riders these days tend to make the transition from 450 to 600 look pretty easy, and Keelan Irwin's certainly doing that. Just pushing that front end though a bit around Coram Curve. They are currently lapping in the mid to low 113s. Lap record, as I said, Ross Twyman, 112.2. Set a couple of years back now. And they are just breaking away from Danny Booth there in third. There is Lloyd Shelley up the inside of championship leader William White. I say that William White is the series leader, but it isn't by an awful lot. Gary Johnson went missing on the opening lap, by the way. Gary Johnson, of course, TT winner on a 600. On a Triumph, in fact, but I don't know what happened to him. But he doesn't seem to be featuring at the sharp end. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for him in case I've missed him somewhere, but you would expect someone of Gary Johnson's quality to be fighting at the front end of this one. Very and Irwin just not putting a foot wrong at the moment. They're not giving Danny Booth a chance, although he has well and truly broken away from the pack, fighting for fourth as Keelan Irwin here makes a challenge around the outside. It's the long way round. It would give him the inside line into Murray's, but you've got to be big and brave to pull that one off around the outside at the moment. Keelan Irwin then perhaps showing signs of frustration in second place and eager to get by. Further back there is 122 and 221. Now that is Tom Collins and Ewan McClinchy. And into Richie's corner we go. This is the part of the circuit where Robert Very seems to have the edge. And then Irwin closes again. Danny Booth, good lap from him there. 13 flat. That is the fastest lap of the race. So Danny Booth has closed up on this group. Oh dear, that's Jordan Rushby. That is Jordan Rushby who's down, and he's on all fours and he looks hurt as well. Is that on the exit of Chapman by the looks of things? So that'll be a high side. Oh dear, that is not good. Jordan Rushby, I tell you what, when he crashes, he does not do things by half. He had a monster one here a couple of years ago, don't forget. And just some riders, when they crash, they just can't do it softly or gently. And Jordan Rushby is down and out of this race. Keelan Irwin has made his way through anyway. He leads now from Robert Very. Danny Booth there getting his head tucked in. He's in third place overall on his Yamaha, the DB Racing back machine. Then it's Lloyd Shelley leading the second group. Keelan Irwin still just hanging on again. Fast into turn one is Robert Very. Danny Booth is going to make a move shortly, and this isn't looking too good here. Jordan Rushby is injured and the red flags have come out, and that race is going to get declared. It's going to go back a lap. Luckily for Keelan Irwin, it will be the 25 points. Robert Very will take second from Danny Booth, Lloyd Shelley fourth, Mallender fifth, William White sixth. But we send our best regards to Jordan Rushby, who looks really hurt after that one, last year's runner-up. There's the top three then. In the elite class, Irwin, Very and Booth. And in the sportsman, it is Very, Shelley and Tony Wastenage, your top three overall. Race 2 coming up in just a few moments. Let's see if Irwin can do it again. Welcome back to Snetterton, GB Racing Sportsman Elite 600s. Race 1 was cut short as Brendan Mallender lines up on pole position due to a big crash involving Jordan Rushby. I'll tell you, he has been taken to medical centre and we send him our best regards for a speedy recovery. But just as we've seen in the past, Jordan Rushby involved in the championship, but unfortunately heading out of the circuit. Injured, so hopefully he'll be back ready for Cadwell. William White is the championship leader, or certainly was heading into this round. With no Jordan Rushby, I suppose that helps William White in terms of the championship, although William wouldn't want it to be done in such a way. Robert Very looked good in race 1 until it got red flag. He's third on the grid, and look out there for Keelan Irwin on that Oasis by Yamaha, number 69, having a good look around. And he might just get the whole shot here. Good start from him on the second row. A brilliant start for Keelan Irwin, and he does lead going into turn 1, the Irishman. So he's looking to repeat what he did in race 1 when he got cut short. In third place there is Tony Wastenich, fourth for William White. The pack all flying through. Such a competitive class, this one, because you can look back all the way as far as, what, 20th place and find riders that have won here at Thundersport in the past. And you've just got to be not only talented, but you've really got to have the confidence to get wins in this class. They are flying in the Thundersport 600s, but Very it is that has found a way through on Keelan Irwin, just as he did in race 1 in the early stages. So Keelan got it all to do again. Now we're on board here with Chris Helliwell at number 5. Now, I'm not entirely sure on the story of this one, but Helliwell, of course, Golden Era Supersport champion, was trying to defend his crown in Golden Era Supersport again with Thundersport. All I've seen is that he's not entered Golden Era Supersport this weekend, and he's here in the 600, so not sure what's happened there, but it is what it is. Rain spots on the camera lens there. Now, we've seen that in a couple of races already, but it's not been anything to really worry about. It's quite strong wind here. It is very cool. A couple of spots won't be enough to do anything on track to make this a dangerous race, if you like, but if it was to really tip down, it could be a different story. Lovely move there from Keelan Irwin up the inside of Robert Very down into Montreal, now onto the Bentley straight. So the same two that were peeling off in race 1 are doing it again here. Danny Booth joined them in race 1 at the end, but it was just unfortunately red flag before he could really have a say. Very back up ahead of Keelan Irwin, but Danny Booth at the moment, what is he, back in 6th place with some work to do in the early stages. Arnie Shelton's got off to a decent start, I have to say, number 34. You may remember Arnie from the first days when we were racing 125 GPs, and he tried his luck at a British level. He's back here on 600s with us at the moment. William White still inside that top 4 or 5 as well. There he is in 4th. In 5th place there is Zach Corduroy. This rain, is it raining or are they the same spots? Hard to say. Zach Corduroy, yellow R6, number 22. He's just up ahead of Danny Booth. Those two know each other incredibly well. They've spent a couple of years racing each other at Super Teen and 450 level in the Aprilias. So they know what it's all about. And again up the inside, that didn't work this time for Keelan Irwin. He attempted the block pass at slow speed, but Robert Very wasn't having any of it, and so that has actually cost Keelan Irwin quite a bit of time, and he falls into the clutches of those behind. There's John Dieterman, double Golden Era Superbike champion. He's just up ahead there of number 65, Ashley Milburn, former top 3 runner at pre-national 600s. We had a full grid of nearly 40 odd riders in this class at the start of the weekend. The attrition rate here at Snetterton this weekend is huge. We've only got 25 on the grid here for this race, so we've lost nearly 20 riders. There's Sam Holm further back, another former pre-national 600 rider who's had to make the step up into the elite class, but it's Very from Keelan Irwin at the front, then Tony Wastenich, William White, Zach Corduroy, Danny Booth. Behind this lot is then, oh dear, and that is number 48, and that will be Alex Lorries, who's gone down. Freshman champion from last year in the pre-national 600s, and unfortunately he is down and out of the race, so that's a shame for him. Here we see Robert Very still leading this one from Keelan Irwin. Danny Booth do? Can he make his way through the pack. Further back, Milburn has now passed John Dieterman. All of these guys looking to pick up as many points as possible. John Dieterman finding it tough in the 600s at the moment compared to life in the Golden Era Superbike class. Third at the moment then, William White, championship leader, up ahead of Danny Booth. Tony Wastenage has fallen back a bit. Zach Corduroy closing in on them. And here we ride with Chris Helliwell. So he loses a couple of places. Oh, that didn't go very well. That can happen over at Brundle and Nelson. So easy to do. Luckily there is a bit of tarmac runoff there that you can use to rejoin the circuit if you need it. It does mean that every now and again you can break yourself. You might just fancy trying something. Certainly in qualifying, I remember a lot of riders. Oh dear, that doesn't sound very good, and it's not. Robert Very goes flying off from the race leader, Keelan Irwin, as well. Is there something down on circuit? That's odd. And there's another one down. Yeah, this is it. This is going to get red flagged. Oh my word. This is looking a bit iffy now. 3 riders, that's no coincidence. Red flags rightly put out here. Well, major drama there in that first part of the race. We are going to get a fresh restart. Significantly, they'll be taking grid positions from where they were, but the problem is, of course, Keelan Irwin, Robert Very, who were leading, aren't there anymore. So William White has been promoted to pole position. The championship leader, second red flag we've seen in this class. There's Tony Wastenage. I'm presuming that we're missing somebody else on that front 2 rows as well. Well, this is an interesting one. A few riders missing. We'll just talk about what we can see, but look at the gaps on the grid now. William White must be thinking all of his Christmases are coming at once here in the championship as his title rivals throw it down the road. But such a shame for Very and Keelan Irwin there, who were charging. Could have been really nasty down in turn 1. You could see just how quick it is down there when you come off. Used to be a potato field going into turn 1 if you crashed. I know, I've been there. Luckily it's not there anymore, because otherwise all 3 of those guys would have been picking potatoes out. Always another nasty crash there on the exit of Chapman Curve. One rider's distraught. Number 94 is one of them. Joe Miller has gone down. Aaron Sylvester is the rider who is acting a bit like Sylvester the cat there. He's spitting down at Chapman. Obviously wasn't a crash of his own fault, but he is not happy. That could have been another nasty one there. They were right in the firing line. But does anyone want to finish these 600 races? William White leads from Tony Wastenage here in this Sportsman Elite 600 race. In third there, that looks like Aaron Bradley. I'll have to double check that in a moment when they head into Richie's corner. They have got off to a brilliant start. Zach Corduroy's up there as well. Let's have a look there. Yeah, it is Aaron Bradley. And so good start for him. And Zach Corduroy's in fact just gone past him. So Corduroy, who was with these guys earlier on, he'll now try and close the gap down. He'll be pleased to see that Tony Wastenage has now got to the front. It's been a while since I've seen Tony leading a race, but here he is, number 14, with William White up alongside him, trying to get into the slipstream. Wastenage not in the top 10 of the championship overall at the moment, so William doesn't have to do anything too silly, but hey, he's going for it nonetheless. On board of Helliwell, and there, I mentioned the tarmac runoff earlier. Chris Helliwell unfortunately having to use it, and that is going to cost him some serious time. He rejoins the circuit. Luckily for him, he's not going to be on the racing line, and then he'll chuck it into the bomb hole. Unfortunately, Helliwell's probably lost about 6 or 7 places there as a result of that. At the front, Zach Corduroy, having got up into third, is now closing down on this group. William White leads from Wastenage, Zach Corduroy. There is Aaron Bradley. Good start for him. He's just up ahead of Brendan Mallender on circuit. Lloyd Shelley is up there as well, the Terrier, number 19, so keep an eye out for him on that white Triumph. He's only got the number on the right-hand side of the bike, which will annoy the start line officials. Danny Booth, of course, who was another rider that went down at Ritchie's along with the front 2, has not made it on the grid, which is why we had a gap on the grid. So Danny Booth hasn't made it either. So a number of big hitters not featuring here, and a big chance for points for William White. He didn't always have the luck with him last year. Is that going to change this season? The trio at the front, I like this. You've got the triumph there of William White, championship leader. Yamaha in second, well, that's Kawasaki in second now. That is Zach Corduroy, and third for Tony Wastenage. So pretty good going there for Zach Corduroy, who's looking more and more like the rider that we saw winning so many 450 races. Of course, he's a Aprilia Super Teen and an Aprilia 450 champion, Zach Corduroy, accomplished rider. Got to believe that it won't be that long before you start seeing Zach's name appearing more and more regularly at British Championship level. Just at the back of this group behind Aaron Bradley there is Max Wadsworth. Now, Max is number 72, third in the championship coming into this weekend. He just hasn't really gone to plan for him so far this weekend. I'm not sure what's happened. He's not been at the races. I'd imagine he'll be happy to leave Snetterton and head to Cadwell. Snetterton 200, not everyone's cup of tea. There's a couple of circuits on the calendar that just some riders work well at, others don't. I think that's the great thing about the Thundersport Championship, is that every round there's something different thrown at you. You are never on the same layout the whole way through the season. And of course this year we welcome back, welcome return of Mallory Park as well, which again, not every rider likes. I'll tell you who does like it though. The man sitting next to me in the commentary box, making sure everything's working well, Miles, his camera team, and us as commentary as well, because it's really good to commentate on, and it's really good to film. You might not like it much at Mallory, some of you, but great racing at Mallory Park, and really good cheese and pickle sandwiches as well. 47, William White, still just got the advantage at the moment. 22, Zach Corduroy in second, and the rest of the pack look like they just are inching a bit closer here. Could we see a 4 or 5 way fight for the eventual race win? Here comes Zach Corduroy on the power, on his Kawasaki, into the slipstream of William White. In terms of the Sportsman, by the way, Lloyd Shelley and Tony Wastenage are Sportsman riders, so keep an eye on them. 1-2-1 is Owen Collins from the Republic of Ireland. Now look at this, it really is a proper fight at the front. Where's Arnie Shelton come from there? Green bike. I mentioned he was on a yellow bike earlier. He's actually out there on, he's got yellow leathers but green bike. He's absolutely flying. We've seen a change for the lead. Zach Corduroy leads from William White, and then Tony Wastenage. Then it's Arnie Shelton. Looking at Arnie Shelton's lap times. Yep. Well, they're all in the low 114s. So this could be a proper scrap here, right to the end. Across the line we go. Corduroy, White, Wastenage. Lloyd Shelley, the Terrier, is in there as well. Brandon Mallender. Well, hello. We've got ourselves a race here at Snet. The big players may have gone down. They might not have been able to rejoin and start this race, but this is looking very close indeed. Max Wadsworth at the back of this group, with the top 7 there. What are they split by? About a second and a half. That's all. Onto the back straight we go. The Terrier, Lloyd Shelley. I don't know who John is. Lloyd Shelley getting into the slipstream. Just trying to find a way through on William White. Doesn't work. Corduroy remains at the front of the pack. It's William White second, then Lloyd Shelley, Wastenage, Arnie Shelton, then Brendan Mallender. Sparks flying up there as the foot peg hits the deck down into the bomb hole, and someone's gone down there on the back straight. Yellow flags are being waved, and that's not good news. That could bring a stoppage, and there's fuel or something, or a fluid down. Yeah, quite right, and another red flag. 3 red flags in 2 races. It's going to get declared. Zach Corduroy will take it. He wins from William White, Lloyd Shelley, Tony Wastenage, Arnie Shelton and Brendan Mallender. We've been basically robbed there of what could have been a really nice ending, but hey, Zach Corduroy won't care. He takes it in the elite class from William White and Lloyd Shelley. Lloyd Shelley wins the Sportsman category ahead of Tony Wastenage and Aaron Bradley. What does that do to the championship then, with Jordan Rushby down and out? Well, William White has capitalised big time. He'll take a handsome lead into Cadwell Park. Wadsworth is just a point behind Rushby. Lloyd Shelley's closing in as well. Look at the rest of them, so tight in that championship. Shelley leads in the Sportsman 600 class. That's no real surprise. Very a crasher there in that first restart, and he was second overall in the championship as well. So, well, it's all getting pretty nice and tasty in this championship, but it was William White that will lead us into Cadwell. We'll see you there.